Good morning, everybody. We are back from Vegas. Woohoo! We made it alive, and it was a hugely successful trip. I will have to tell you, it was so funny. In the beginning, everybody's all like beautiful, gussied up, amazing shoes, amazing clothes, makeup perfect, right? Oh my God, you should have seen the last day. Everyone's dragging huge bags under people's eyes, sneakers. I mean, it was hysterical, right, Bobby? Have you noticed? I mean, it was so funny. And the general session sadly thinned out a lot the last day, which was a shame because that's when Brad Nelson did the awesome marketing thing. But that's always how it is, because what happens is the parties get bigger and bigger as it goes on. Yeah. And, you know, people stay out later and later. And I don't know how you do that because breakfast starts at 7:30. And so for me, I'm like, I'm not going to be a moment late, right? So I go to the party and then I go to my room and crash. These people go to the party, then they go to the after party, then they go to the after party of the after party of the after party. I mean, I don't know how they do it.
I guess
Right.
we have a marketing meeting
Oh.
at 10 a.m. as well.
Oh.
We're going to talk to you real fast.
Sure, no problem. Well, we're doing GNE Takeaways. Susan, she made it. Let me put this up
Good
here.
morning.
Oh, you poor. A lot of people got sick from GNE, I've been hearing. Yeah. That's what happens when you put 3,000 people in a space.
Yes, that's true. And everybody hugging everybody.
Everybody hugging everybody. Everybody's so happy to be around other people. Right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So, the other amazing thing I have to say, and this is what I love about our brand, good morning. Everybody was there to connect. You know, that was like the goal. Everybody knows that the whole point is they want to connect. They want to make connections. You have your app. A lot of people preset meet and greets. I came on Monday, but people were there some people came on Friday. I mean, people had been meeting all weekend long. When I got there, it's a huge place, right? My room wasn't ready. Don't even start me. I'm trying to find where to register. That was in itself. And there they are. They're doing, you know, what was it? A scavenger hunt. They're doing everything they can to get people to. You were doing a scavenger hunt. They were trying to get people to meet us because it was amazing. So I have to say, Sotheby's in general did a great job, but I think the people who attended did an amazing job trying to make sure that connections were made. Wouldn't you agree with that, Flavia? I mean, so many agents went above and beyond creating these connections and making things happen. I really was impressed with what they did to help create those bonds. And I have never seen that in any other brand. So that was great. So with that said, here's a heads up, guys. September 8th through 10th next year. Put it in your calendars. It's coming again, but this time, put on your cowboy boots because we're going to Nashville. Woo! Hopefully there's not this smoke situation because but there should be lots of live music. It's going to be great. They have not released like what hotel it'll be held on or anything yet. But so look out for that. But it is definitely going to be, which I think is weird because September 8th is a Sunday. I know, which is weird, but I would be surprised they would change that date, but it's September 8th through 10th in Nashville. It is going to be fabulous. 2024. Yeah, not this year. They can't redo. My God, that would be too much. Please, not another one this year. I can't handle that. No, I would. One a year is enough. Okay. So, but that's next year. So you definitely want to make sure you make it there. So just wanted to tell you that first. Number 2. Since you know it's coming, I have to tell you, you guys all saw, oh, that's interesting. Got something stuck on my phone there. I had put in, you guys all saw I did can you do it? So weird to try to show it right on your phone when you're kind of I can't turn my, I put that on my watch. This worked out great. Now we'll tell you what Sotheby's did is they gave everybody those, what do they call, bobble or something, those cards. Everybody got an electronic card when you checked in so that you could connect with everybody. Here's the problem with those cards. They seem fabulous, right? This is a digital business card. But what happens is they go into your contacts. How the heck do you know that they came from GNE? They're now just mixed into all your contacts. I wouldn't know. Now, on the app, which is really cool. So on the app that they have, you can star people and you can connect with people that way, but now they're not in your contacts. So now what are you doing? Double the work. You got to double check and then go back. Are you kidding me? You know how tired you are when you get back from these things? Like, you want to be doing that? So what I did, as you all saw, is I created that page on my website that had a little flip book, which I can show you later. Not today, because today's about the takeaways, but it had some things, the Look No Further campaign. It had about the 40 years. It had about how we're great with referrals. And then it had that little call to action. Please put down your areas of location, the specialty niches, so I can send you all of my referrals. Of course they want to fill that out. Everybody's trying to connect. Now, guys, it all came as leads. They're all entered into my CRM. They're all entered as GNE because my page was called GNE. They're in my contacts. I know exactly who they are. I throw them in a group. I do a nice active pipe and I send it to that group. One thing. You know how easy it is for me to follow up with these people? So much better. So as we prepare for next year, we got a little legway, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to do something like that. And by the way, having it on your watch was so easy, right? I didn't have to fumble around with my phone, get the thing out. It was so easy. And by the way, super cool. I looked really fancy. So everyone's like, wow, you're so high tech. Actually, I met this really cute couple, not couple, my husband, mother and son team from Canada. And he was supposed to be her tech guy. She's like, why don't you know that? You're not that techie. You need to talk to her. So cute. But the thing is, I have to say the best thing about our brand is how everybody wants to share and learn and grow. So my huge takeaways, and then I'm going to move to the next person, are two things. One, collaboration of brand. I made huge connections with some vice presidents of companies, a lot of great brokers. So really got to work on even more referrals for you guys. So I really got some fabulous connections there. So don't worry, even more good stuff for you guys. Number two, my biggest takeaways are the Sotheby's, Premier Sotheby's, come on in, auction. So Sotheby's International Realty Auction House last year purchased the largest rights to concierge auctions. So now they're called Sotheby's Concierge Auctions. And that means that they are now hosting live auctions for our properties in New York City. How cool is this? So what he was calling me today. Alex is our person. We have our, not you, Alex. Like me? We have our own dedicated person. His last name is, I can tell you, Alex Alavecchios. He is our own dedicated person to Premier Sotheby's. And it was funny because when I was in the class, Budge was in my class. And everyone's like, oh, it's Budge. Oh, well, with Budge's company, he gets his own, because not everybody gets their own dedicated concierge. We do. So that's our concierge. So you'll have his name, you'll have his contact, anything you need to know, you can reach out. I'll give them all to him. But again, his name is Alex Alavecchios. I'll send you guys, if you want, I can put it into the chat right now with his phone number. You can reach out to him direct. He can give you all the information, but this is how it works, guys. A lot of times these auction houses, what has to happen is that the seller has to agree to a certain price up front. He has to pay a certain amount of marketing money, right? And then if he cancels or changes his mind, he has a big fee. That's usually how these auction properties things work. None of that comes the same way. It's really a great opportunity. So if you were on a listing presentation, and this is what the auction house does. So day two, Charlie Stewart, the CEO of Sotheby's Auction, was one of our guests. And so what he says is when they come and meet a customer, they said, we can do this two ways, one of two ways. We can do this as a private sale, or we can do this as an auction. It's your choice. Guys, we need to use this in our listing presentation. With Sotheby's, we are very fortunate that we can do this one of two ways. We can do this as a private sale for you, or we can do this as an auction. Who can say that? Nobody, but we can. Now, there's going to be benefit.
Way to
Mhm.
do one what's going on? So,
Yeah, they actually kept sending it to me, but I kept thinking, because concierge auctions has been around for years. And to be totally transparent, concierge auctions has worked with other companies, real estate companies, but never had done a live auction. Everything has always been online. So when I was getting these things, I was kind of like, and I know other auction houses or auction programs, if you will, where I know that sometimes they could work, but you had to pay all this money up front. The seller had to pay marketing fees. If the seller didn't want to do it, they lost money. So I was never that vested to look into it, to be honest, right? But yes, they had one in New York like a month or so ago. We could have totally even gone to it. We could have done it. So yes, we will be very versed and up to date with everything that's going on. Yes, absolutely. Any one of us could go, any one of us could be up to date on it. Absolutely. But the auction itself will be live in New York and we can watch it. They're also doing one in Hong Kong this year in September. Well, we've just started because they just purchased it. So I think we've only had, what did they say? 1 or 2 that we've done live. I think only 1. I think they just had that one because they've just created this program. Now, to be Sotheby's and to have your auction, your home auctioned live at the auction house, it can only be a Sotheby's home. Woo, we fought really hard for that. So that's really amazing. And this is how the program works. We say to our customer when we go to the listing presentation, it is your choice with Sotheby's, Premier Sotheby's International Realty. You have 2 choices. We can either sell your home as a private sale, or if you choose, we could actually sell it at auction. It's your choice, whichever you prefer. Who can do that? Nobody. Now, if they choose to sell it at auction, there would be a reason to do that. The reason to do that is usually because they need to sell it fast. And of course, money could be a little less. You never know. They can't be as tied to the price, right? They might say, I'd rather wait. I don't care about selling so quickly. Let's see how much we can get, right? That is not an auction customer. An auction customer, we have a difficult property. It's been on the market a long time. Let's just sell this thing. That's your auction customer. You could say, let's try to sell a private sale. And if we don't sell it in a while, let's then try the auction.
Is there a minimum?
There's not really a minimum sales price so far. What they typically do is probably over 2 million, but that doesn't mean that that's what it will be. They may be doing things over 500. That's why we have Alex. So we can talk to him and talk through the different properties. Again, this is a program that we're creating. So it could depend on, where it is, the type of property, the type of interest. So these are the things we need to talk to our rep about. And you would talk to him before you go to the property, right? You don't want to go to a $500,000 house and offer him that, and then we can't do it. So you'd want to talk to him prior to having that listing appointment, right? But in a $500,000 house, why the heck would we have to say that, right? So usually this would be maybe $1 million would be necessary here, right? So it just depends. So this is why you'd want to talk to him about it. But there was nothing set in stone. No, there was no like, this is our minimum. They didn't say that. Now, the other thing is, there's no set price. And now, could the seller create a reserve? Yes. Do they recommend that? No. Oftentimes, good morning, it would actually hurt the price. So he can explain that more, but it's almost like showing your cards when you set the reserve. So you don't ever want to show your cards, right? So how it would typically work is, let's say you say, okay, we want to set this at auction. So you put it out there and they start advertising it. Now, what's really great, because it's Sotheby's auction house, it goes to first concierges, 200,000, curated customers that they've had in their pipeline for years. They've been doing this for 20 years. Then it goes to 800,000 auction house customers that only Sotheby's works with. That is the gold, okay? And it goes through Sotheby's. Concierge doesn't get that list. Only Sotheby's has that list. Those customers now get this information. Now we start getting offers, okay? Nothing that they work on. We take all those numbers and then we get a starting bid. That's how they come up with the starting bid. Once you get that starting bid, you then decide to the seller, do you want to do this or you don't? Now the seller can say yay or nay. If the seller says, you know what, I don't want to do it, no harm, no foul. They don't lose a penny. They don't lose anything. Great. If they say, yeah, let's do it. Then they set the auction in 5 days. Right. So they've already known that the auction was going to be, they already set a date and all this. This has already been done and it's going to be live. Now they don't have to do live, but why the heck would you not? And it'll be live in New York and online. So people all over the world will be, So what happens is they have the starting bid and he says it goes on for 5 days. It goes in the MLS. All realtors get paid on the deal. Everybody gets paid. Okay. Oftentimes you get both sides because you might also be bringing the buyer. So that's really great too. But the bidding happens, right? And it happens. Usually it's like eBay though. It usually happens really big in the last 30 minutes. That's what he said. That's really when the excitement happens. But, and then they actually have the close, you know, the gavel goes down. The closing itself usually takes about 30 days to actually finally close. Now they've done the inspections ahead. They did you know, the title work ahead, but the actual closing of the home, the paperwork being signed, all of that actually probably finalizes about 30 days after the gavel goes down. But they don't let people back out. Done. Sale has happened at the auction. Does that make sense?
So the bidders would have to either have proof of funds or.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they
Before they can-
qualify them and all that before they can even bid. Yeah, just to become a bidder, you have to have all that. You got it. Okay, good. Can everyone please mute themselves? Okay, everybody mute yourselves. So, any questions though? Is that not awesome? Now, if you're having trouble and you need a price decrease, great time to bring out the auction. You know, we're seeing that the market is not accepting your price. We can continue what we're doing. We can try to lower your price, or we can go with step 2 and talk about an auction, right? I mean, guys, this is an awesome tool we now have at our disposal that we did not have before. So I'm going to give you all, I'll send it out in an email, Alex's information. You all need to reach out to him to have I'll probably bring him in for a training is what I'm going to do, so that we all have like a real clear understanding of how the program works. But that's my biggest aha, because it's one more thing that gives us a distinctive advantage over everybody else. There is nobody. You think Christie's has ever done this? No. And there is no other company that is tied to an auction house. So one more huge distinctive advantage of wireless with Subsea. Beautiful. Okay, yes.
Is there a cost to participate in the auction?
No.
Because they can say, oh, I'm not interested after they don't work. right?
All costs, any costs that would be associated would be passed on to the buyer who's buying.
But they can change their mind.
The buyer can change the seller can, now, they can't once their bidding has started, right? Because they say at that point, do you want to continue or you don't, when they set the bidding price? Yeah. But, you know, obviously you can't, I don't even know, like, if you're already in the bidding. I mean, I think it's like, if you're painting stuff on the thing, I don't think they could yank it away, right? I mean, I think sure there's something to do with that, but we didn't really talk about it at that point. But you, for the buyers,
Right, because I know typically in auctions, you know, there's always a fee. for the
I think it's
auction.
about 6% for the buyers. If I'm not, I may be incorrect, but I believe it was about 6%. But buyers are totally used to that at auction.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the sellers pay nothing. All fees are sent to the buyer side, which is awesome. So yeah. And the realtors get paid their regular fees. So woo, woo, we love it. And we do help with the marketing. So they help on the marketing side and we help on the marketing side. So I don't know about you guys, but I think that is a huge distinctive advantage, right? Would you not agree? And the other thing I want to point out before I pass the gavel, another big point, there were 2 other big ahas and they kind of all rolled together. One, well, first of all, I loved the keynote speaker the first day, the former CEO, Indira Naum of PepsiCo. She was amazing. Did you guys not agree with that? She was so incredible. But I think in general, the pretty much consensus, Philip White, Charlie Stewart, even Indira, everybody was saying the same thing when they talked about the economy, when they talked about where the real estate market was. Everyone was saying the same thing. No matter what happens with interest rates, no matter what happens with inventory, where they want to put their money is the luxury market. I mean, let's be honest, the luxury market is insulated, thank God, right? Tends to be insulated from interest rates, tends to be insulated from inventory, because it's not the traditional day-to-day, you know? So they are Sotheby's International Realty, Sotheby's Auction, they're putting a lot of money into the luxury space because they really believe there's going to be so much more growth in that space. And I think that the reality is, even Indira was saying, it was very funny, they were looking at changing their product line because things like what are their chips and things, Frito-Lays, and people weren't buying them. They were thinking because they're not very healthy. And so she's saying we need to revamp the line and create healthier products. They may cost a little more, but they're going to be healthy products. And the whole PepsiCo line was saying, no, 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 we don't want to do that. And she said, well, are you going to be eating these products? No, we can't eat those products. Right. So the point is, you still have to create things for the market that's actually going to consume it, right? So the reality is the market today is expecting more and they have the money. There is becoming a little bit of a shift, unfortunately, where there's a greater shift in who has the money and who doesn't have the money. Would you guys agree with that? And so if they're putting the money into the luxury space, luckily we can support a lot of those things in the luxury space. And so even better to be connected with other realtors or global advisors in all of these markets, because we need to be able to share these customers and help them wherever they are. And that's the biggest advantage to Sotheby's, is that we can do that. We can help them in whatever space they need to be in, where other people can't. So I think that that's a big advantage that we share that nobody else does. So my probably biggest takeaways is, the luxury space is definitely huge, and the Sotheby's auction. Okay, who would like to, you want to speak next, Flavia?
Sure.
Are you online? Okay, if you're not online, come on down. Come on down. Yeah, come on down. Come on down. We'll have a fireside chat with Flavia.
My brain's not gonna wake you up.
That's okay. Wake it up. You're an attorney. You can wake it up. Imagine if you were in the courtroom right now. Just kidding. Okay, let's do a little fireside chat. So what were your thoughts? Now, how long have you been with the brand?
A little over 4 months.
So 4 months with the brand. You've been with Coldwell Banker before that.
Yes.
And in the legal field, poor baby, for how many years?
I was an attorney for the chief counsel of the IRS for 6 years.
So let me ask you, what was your biggest surprise at GNE?
The amount of people. It's just like, we're just like ants, little ants everywhere when you're looking. And the sensory overload. I think you have to be prepared for that and pace yourself. For me, I'm more an introvert, so it's hard to be on the whole time. But the willingness of people to cooperate and to engage was amazing, and I met wonderful people. And finding like what resonates with you. So I was approached by the Italians because I speak Italian. So we had like this whole mastermind group about talking how to gear to the Italians, to the Italian market, and globally. So there was a big vision of how to work globally, thinking locally, but thinking about that particular customer who's going to want to invest in other countries. The Brazilians too, we had the Brazilian group. So our buyers from Brazil, they're interested in investing in other countries, the Turks and Caicos, and they're going to Australia, to many different places. So having that global vision.
Now imagine, this had nothing to do with anything actually put on by Sotheby's. This was a bunch of agents all just getting together.
Yeah, that just happened organically. And then somebody else put a wellness a breakfast, and everybody who was interested in wellness just participated, something else that's dear to my heart. So everybody connected that way. So with your interests, you could connect with different people. There was a yoga class and different things for different people. So it was amazing because it could resonate with people and make stronger connections that way. So that was my takeaway.
One of the things I thought was so interesting is I kept trying to get my group together, but my group was like, I'm too busy. I'm finding other people. So I never saw my agent. But
Yeah.
kept saying, Flavia, where are you? She's like, oh, I just connected with these other people. I'll see you later. Oh, I was concerned, I just want to make sure that they're doing okay.
Yeah, it was amazing. The way things were set up was set up to happen organically. you can tell this was on purpose, and the agents were given a lot of leeway for that.
And then we were trying to meet up at the general session, and I was telling her where to meet in the middle section, right on the right, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I'm coming. And then where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Then on a break, she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I met this agent from Hawaii.
Yes, and she wants to invest in Florida. So I said, Carrie, I just cannot not talk to her. We just end up becoming good friends. And it's just
And she's an introvert, right?
Yes, I think I do well with smaller groups of people. The amount of people just overwhelms me a little bit.
Any other takeaway from the classes that you saw?
I love the negotiation class, and he has a YouTube. He has a mastermind classes. I think he's an attorney. His class, just the 1 hour, we could not get enough of what he said, and I gave you the links, and I highly recommend. He's amazing. I forgot his name. Kwame.
Yeah, Kwame's name.
Yeah, I forgot his
I
name.
went
but
for half an hour.
was my favorite presentation ever. Everybody loved who attended.
I like the way he spoke. It
Yeah.
was very down to earth,
Yeah.
and he broke things down in a very natural way. And he made it seem like, remember, when you're negotiating, it has to be a win-win.
Yeah.
You have to think from the other side person's perspective. I thought that was really
And
good.
how to dial down the emotions as well, and just change the subject and then go back. But a lot of little techniques, and he has a podcast too that you can listen to, and I think it was wonderful. I used on my daughter right away, and it was really good.
She's already used to techniques.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions for Flavia? As a newer agent with Sotheby's going to GNE, as an introvert, obviously we can see it's for all kinds. Nobody? Thank you,
Thank
Miss
you.
Flavia.
Thank you.
Susan, come on down, girl.
So-
Emily was gonna be next, but she left, so now it's you, my friend.
Okay,
So, Miss Susan, how long have you been with Sotheby's?
almost 2 years.
2 years with Premier Sotheby's. Been in the industry for how many years now?
Almost 8.
8 years. You specialize in land, you specialize in commercial. So that's a different sector. So how did you find this GNE to be interesting and good for you?
It was interesting, mainly meeting with all the different people. I connected with someone that I'd done a ninja class via Zoom.
Oh,
Susie she's from Hawaii. And we recognized each other from the Zoom meetings that we'd done together, which was really interesting. Yeah, and it was interesting meeting all the different people. The negotiating class, everybody, we need to invite him here, give him Disney tickets and tell him, come teach us for a week, because he was amazing. Some of his techniques I'm already starting to put into place.
good. I love it.
It was great meeting all the different people. The energy level was infectious.
Yeah.
And it just kind of brought a new energy coming back on Monday.
Except for the illness.
Hey, what can I say? Plain
Yeah.
air gets me every
Yeah,
time.
yeah. What about any other takeaways? Anything that you learned that you would do next time different? Anything?
Next time I will take only tennis shoes with me.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And I would get there a day or two earlier
You
to make
would.
some some of the private connections, because some of the out parties were where you really connected, that
Mhm.
were separate events, especially they had things for first time attendees
Yes, it
that
did.
were very interesting to go to, and you met a lot of different people in different markets.
Yeah, like Lynn. He came on the plane with me, by the way, so ridiculous. So we get off the plane. It was me, Lynn, and Danny. I have a little carry-on, and these two guys have these ginormous bags. I'm like, seriously, I'm the woman here, and what's this about?
Yes.
But I thought I would see Lynn all the time. I never saw Lynn. He was off doing his thing. So
That's-
to your point, people were making these connections,
It was,
and Fran, by the way, has already gotten her first referral from Gene.
oh, she was the most amazing networker you've ever seen. We should make her do a class on networking,
But
because
Fran,
I
are
have
you on?
never seen anybody network to the degree that Fran
I'm
does
here.
all the time.
Did you
She
hear
was
that?
Excellent. at
Susan
networking.
has already volunteered you apparently. You're sitting in class.
It's just I could not spend any time with poor Susan. You know, I'm always like, she said, well, let's get together. I say, yes. And then I pass by her.
That's true, because every time I
Yes.
kept trying to say Premier Sotheby's, her group is over here, she's like, oh no. I'm with my group from Vegas. Oh no, I'm with my group from New York. Oh no, I'm like, whatever. I don't even bother with Fran anymore. I just text her, keep her in the group if she can be that.
Awesome networker. She should write a book on how to network, because I've never seen anybody make so many connections so quickly as Fran did. She really worked it.
Great job,
Oh
Fran.
my God. Thank you, Susan.
Well, thank you. Any other takeaways or any other thoughts or any classes or any parties or anything else that you thought were?
Not really. The negotiating class, he was just absolutely awesome. And I'm already listening to his podcast because it was just, it's,
Oh, hold on.
he was funny and informative at the same time. The hour went by so quickly. It was like, it felt like it was 10 minutes.
His
It was-
name is Kwane, Kanwan. His last name is Christian, Christian.
One of the best speakers I've ever
Negotiation
been to.
skills you need every day. That was the class.
And you will find yourself looking in the mirror going, oh gosh, I have made that mistake. In correcting. At least that's what it did for me. It was like, I've done that. I need to not do that again.
He wasn't.
He would,
Anybody else have any questions for Susan? Thank you.
thank
Susan.
you.
Emily, come on down. Fireside chat. I love a fireside chat.
Planned on it.
Well, it's not about planning. We're just chatting. Oh, you have to bring your own chair. She's funny. She didn't like my chair. She has to bring her own chair. All right. So this is was it your first GNE?
Yes.
But you've been to other ones. So which other smaller ones have you gone to?
Level Up in California was my first, and
Uh-huh.
then the Miami Beach one is the one Sotheby's one.
So how did the big GNE compare to the smaller one? Well, that's true.
I would say more people, and I would say this one had more of the really heavy hitters of our brand and our market, and
Yeah.
the auction house, having the auction house there, having all of the big people involved in Sotheby's International and in the auction house there was a differentiator, and definitely had a lot. I think in general had a lot more of that extracurricular or the other parties and events alongside at the end and at the beginning and during the whole party. But I think that may be something that we start to see anyway at the smaller ones as well. So the game was really upped on those very individualized, concentrated and themed get-togethers or groups, which I think Flavia already mentioned as well. The special interests, so that you're really connecting on a personal level, so that when you make a referral or they make a referral, they know this person is really into, yoga or whatever, and then I'm gonna refer you. So
the other thing that I think is really important to know is that those groups are open to everybody. It's not like, oh, Oksana, I'm sorry, we don't know you. You're not in that group. Everybody was invited to go. And even the other groups, which happened on the Saturday and the Sunday that I did not go to because I wasn't there, but there was WhatsApp groups galore. My God, if I got one more thing about it. So many parties, the whiskey party, this party, the Women of Sotheby's party, this. Oh my God, the white party. There were so many parties. I can't even forget. The ninja party. Yeah. You could have gone to any of them. They were open to everybody. You just had
inclusivity was a key, and collaboration and
yep.
Yes. Yeah.
So don't feel like, oh, it was not cliquey at all. I have to say that was probably the coolest thing about it. Even though there were so many groups, it wasn't cliquey. And I think that's really important about our brand. They want to create the groups so that you can feel like you have a niche and you can help for referral purposes, but it's not to create a group so that you are disincluding other people. It's not for that purpose at all. It's really to help you find your avenue where you can connect the best with. That's all.
Absolutely. It did seem more like that. But also I'm more comfortable now. So maybe it was my my vision of, or my view of it. But also I do think that there was just so many people that you could find your own group of people, or you could find a different person to talk to and sit by every time. So it was really important to go a little deeper though, as opposed to just, there was a couple people who were like those people handing out their business cards to every single person. But but that was the few and the far between. Most people were actually sitting down and having a conversation and actually trying to make some kind of connection with you. And I would suggest going either side a little further before or after to take advantage of that, and also to kind of ease yourself into it as well. So.
It is true. I would recommend, if you had the opportunity to go early, it was, I mean, and I have been before. And again, as a manager, I come with a different purpose, and I had a schedule I had to keep up with, but it is a lot to get there and jump in and just, I would have been so much nicer to have arrived the day before. I would highly recommend.
Yeah,
it.
I went a couple of days early, and it definitely wasn't something that I'll copy and emulate next time, because
I mean,
it helps me ease myself into it, because it can be overwhelming. And then also just not feeling bad if you decide not to do one of the events.
it can be super overwhelming and mostly
You don't
exhausting.
overbook yourself.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is it's an investment, right? And you want to get the most out of your investment. So you want to be strategic. So I was trying to be strategic as I can. And we as managers did a lot of like group to setups. And I had my group that we set up. So we had things that were pre-planned, but it was like I was running seriously from place to place. But you know me, I'm used to running. But it would have been nicer had I had more time to enjoy it. I felt like it was a lot of running for me. Whereas to your point, you could probably have enjoyed it a little bit more if you were a little more thought out like that. What about any other takeaways that you got?
I make sure to connect with people that I've connected with via a distance or a Zoom or whatever. And I met a lady at the Zoom, the GNE that we had in 2020 that was virtual. And I actually met her in person. So, I just made sure that we connected and saw each other in person. So that was lovely.
I have to say, so I meet my Sotheby's manager group on Zoom every month. And to meet them, it was like, oh my God, you're shorter than I thought. You're taller than I thought. But it was so cool. You're like a bunch of kids. Like it was like first dates, right? But it was so cool. But you're like hugging each other. It was just, you feel these instant bonds, and it's just so nice. So you have the time now before the GNE to start making relationships with people. So that way, when you do meet them, you have like these great friends and friendships already built in when you're there. It really does. So when I see, it does help even make that experience that much better. And then they want to introduce you to people, which is fabulous too. So that's a good thing. Anything else you want to share? Anybody have a question for Emily? No? Well, thank you, Miss Emily. All right. Fran, turn on your camera.
Camera? Really?
Yeah. You're the
Please,
master
not
worker.
friend again. Not friend
I'm
again,
work-
please.
I'm working from home.
Come on.
Let me try. I'm working from home, people.
All right.
Oh, hold on. So I don't, do you see me?
Just put the sunglasses on, for crying out loud.
I am. And my hair, look. Hello.
All right. Okay, so share some of your takeaways.
Oh my gosh, it was a lot.
Yeah, I know.
There was so many. Yeah, I think for me the important thing was like meeting some people before that I got the main connection. I have done like Level Up. That was my first one. I think that was from Premiere. But it was I stayed with the Premiere group at the time. I stayed with people from our office, and then I did one summit. At one summit, I started getting introduced to other agents. And at one summit, I realized that it was not an easy task. You know, going to those network events, it requires a lot of work. So I met some people at one summit, one of which I not like we start talking, and he came to visit, and he said, "Well, I'll introduce you to my group," which for me that's what made the whole difference. So then as soon as we got there, I met with them and I stayed with that group, and that group grew throughout the event. So I think that was important, and we kind of got a very good connection with things in commons. What we do, the way we work, we exchange a lot of different ideas. We went to some of the sections together, some we went separate. And besides that, like, we are together most of the time, but then when we sit for breakfast, when we sit for lunch, then we try also to spread out to meet other people. So it was very nice.
Well, you can teach us the class on your networking. I'll come. Thank you
Right.
very much. Miss Laura
No.
Barr, what you got for us?
Good morning, everybody. It was everything, everywhere, all at once, but there was something for everybody. So I really liked Will Guidera's section that was on day 2, unreasonable hospitality, kind of reminding us to go above and beyond expectations, to personalize closing gifts, to stay in touch with people, and just be, I mean, we're in the hospitality business and real estate, which I really didn't think of it that way, but we're very, because I was wondering what a restaurateur was going to be, sharing with us, but it was very topical. And Will Guidera, for those that weren't there, had a restaurant in New York, 11 Madison Park. He's only 43 today, but he started it, I think, 2006 plus or minus. And he wanted to network and get with some of the top chefs around the world. So in 2017, he made the top 50 restaurants in the world list. And he went to Italy, and he was really bummed that he was at the bottom. He was there, but he was at the bottom. So he's just went above and beyond expectations. And in 2018, he became the #1 restaurant in the world. So he was one out of the top 50. And, consistency and just attention to detail and just deliver. So I got a lot out of his section. And also
I love the story about the hot dog. You want to share the hot dog part?
Yes. There were some foodies that came in just to try all the top restaurants in New York. They're on a trip. This was their very last day, their very last, restaurant trip. And then they were going to go directly to the airport, 11 Madison Park. So one of the servers happened to notice, like, this is great, but we really haven't had one of those New York hot dogs from the local vendor outside from the hot dog stands, typical New York thing. So Will had a light bulb moment, and he had his staff go out and purchase hot dogs for everybody. And they were so surprised and grateful. That was the highlight of their trip, to have a New York hot dog with this great food. So those are the types of things he did. And also at Tiffany's, he did a deal with Tiffany's where they gave champagne glasses, a pair of champagne glasses, because a lot of couples got engaged at 11 Madison Park. So whenever there was an engagement, they had these special champagne glasses. And then at the end, he'd give them the Tiffany box. He'd box them up, and they were wowed. And it brought a lot of business to Tiffany's, but it also was something that people were not expecting. They were very appreciative of it. So it's showing gratitude as well. So there were a lot of takeaways.
The survival kit, or the boxes that they would give when they were traveling, they'd always give them like a box to take on the airplane. And I was thinking, in his company, but we used to give people survival kits, moving survival kits, and it had tape and it had markers and it had all sorts of things. But I thought that that was a really cool thing. It was all branded to my company. And I think that's a really nice idea. If we had little things like that, little moving survival kits or buyer survival kits, things of those nature that we could give to people. I think that would be a great thing that would set us apart. You know, even if when they came into your car, you had little buyer kits that had a water in there, had a little snack in there. Oh, here's your little buyer, you know, whatever. Other than, yeah.
And maybe something to add in.
By the way, this is Claire, guys. She's our regional marketing director. Woo!
Is a reminder like sheet of certain things that you need to remember to do seasonally. Like,
Yeah.
Like cleaning your chimney, just like little things I know as a homeowner that I forget. That's just a nice the little survival tip.
I love that. Yeah, like changing your air filter and don't forget to put down either the bleach or the what you call it?
In your
In your AC. Yeah, the bleach or the
Vinegar.
Thank
Vinegar.
you. Vinegar. My husband just did it today. You think I'd remember what it was? I didn't use vinegar. But yeah, absolutely. Great idea. Yeah, but things like that, guys, we could be doing, we could be creating these little things. They don't have to cost a ton of money, but they could make a huge difference. So great topic. I thought he was fabulous, Laura. What else you got?
Well, the Ninja event was really great too, because it was the first time in 5 years that Melanie Frank and the author had been together on the stage. So, you know, some people take Ninja every time it's offered. You don't have to take it just once. And with Ninja, it's all about, you know, planning, working your plan, stepping it up because the market has slowed down a little bit. But to maintain the same level, just double time it and you'll be there and even exceed and beyond your own expectations. But you just have to work it, you know, staying in touch. It's all about relationships and maintaining those relationships.
Well, I couldn't
So I
agree more. And I would have loved to see them. I saw Melanie so briefly in the hallway. We blew kisses, but that was about it. But I would have loved to see them on the stage together. Yeah. But it's true. You know, and more times than ever, now is the time to be a ninja. And if you think about unreasonable, what was it called? Unreasonable hospitality.
Unreasonable hospitality.
It's all ninja, right?
He's married to that lady who did the cookie thing for us.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, he was married to the cookie lady who did the cookie thing for us at Christmas time. I didn't know
Yeah, I
that.
thought that was cute.
That is so cute. The cookie lady. Yeah.
Christine, you know.
Christina, the cookie lady. Anything else, Laura, you want to share?
Well, for those that weren't there, Will Guidara is on TED Talk and you can find him on YouTube and he'll talk about his book, which you can order on Amazon or probably find anywhere, Unreasonable Hospitality. And I think it will be a benefit to everybody.
I agree.
I read
Great book. Thank you for sharing that. And I think if we all, it's kind of like, you know, when you read Bob Berg's Go Giver book, if you just incorporate that idea, that concept, now you take it a step further, unreasonable hospitality, these little things all add up to a huge differential in your business. They really do.
Carrie, what was the bill?
Will Guidara. Unreasonable hospitality. Yeah. He's a great speaker too. Honestly, kind of a funny looking guy, but but a great speaker. Yeah, he really was very, very well spoken. We had great speakers. We really did. I mean, you know, Sotheby's always does, but that is probably one of my favorite things. Anything else you care to share? You made a lot of networking. Every time I saw you, you were busy networking.
Yeah, I went to all of the events that I could, and I only stayed at the parties for like an hour or two because I wanted to make sure I hit the ground running first thing in the morning. So I was at breakfast 7:30 in the morning and networking at various different tables. And I used Blink for my digital card. I didn't use Popple. So Blink just has all of the people you've met at this one event. So then I can look through and see who I've.
Well, that was good. At least
Yeah.
you didn't just add it to your contacts. Now you don't know who the heck it was.
Yeah, I didn't do that. So it's Blink, BLINQ. And I did it as a widget on my phone, so it was easily scannable.
That's good. Anything that makes it easy to follow up because the other one does not. And that's the one they gave us, but I didn't use that. Well, thank you, Laura. Appreciate it. It was great seeing you there.
Yes, absolutely.
So the last person I have on here who does not have her camera on, Miss Christine Acosta. Can you turn on your camera, Miss Christine Acosta? I would like to introduce as one of the other huge takeaways from my trip. So I had my group of Sotheby's managers. Now I did also have a group of my agents that came on Monday, but then I had a group of my managers that we were all going to meet. As I shared, we got to see each other live in person. And it was so exciting because, obviously we see each other every week and, every month, and then we actually get to meet each other. But I said, I have an agent who has this incredible new technology offering, and I'd like to share it with you guys. And I have to say, it was a highlight of their trip too. So not only am I already cool, but now I'm the coolest of all the Sotheby's workers. So I got huge kudos for that too. So do you have the video to share, Christine?
Don't forgive me.
What?
I'm
I thought
behind
you were going
that.
to share the video.
I know, but I can't figure out how to attach it, and I can't figure out why I am black on my screen either. I'm so sorry.
You, the one giving out the huge tech thing, and you get.
I know. This morning's been a little different. We just got back. We took a red eye. We got back yesterday, and my husband's sick, so we're waiting on the doctor to go over there. Otherwise, I would be in the office right now. So I'm a little behind today, only because of travel and everything.
So,
But it'll be soon.
Christine has an amazing new piece of technology that she released to showcase to many of us at the GNE, well, a little offsite, and it was incredible. Emily, did you?
I didn't, I saw.
Flavia went. Flavia, who else went? Laura went.
Laura went.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Susan went. Where's Susan? She's not there. Oh, it was, would you guys say, amazing. Now I have on my phone, but then I'd have to join the Zoom. I could join the Zoom. Hold on. Should I show the little video of Elise? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So you talk about it for a second while I join the Zoom.
So basically, I've teamed up with a company that is able to do two-way holographic presentations. So you can beam yourself anywhere, basically in the world at any time. You can beam yourself to multiple places at one time. And when I saw it, the technology that they're using is actually for different industries like healthcare and gaming. And I said, we need this in real estate because time we don't have enough of, and we can't be in multiple locations. So it was a way to say, hey, I really see an opportunity to use this. So we partnered up, and so yeah, we partnered together, and we're bringing it to the real estate industry.
So sorry, Christine.
That's okay.
Okay, everybody hear her? So I'm going to share my screen here in a second. Hold on. It's not going to let me share my screen. Hold on, I'm going to go to the Zoom. Where's my share screen? No. Well, this is annoying. Share.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see here. All right. So guys, this is pretty cool. Hold on. I'm going to do Elise. So here is Elise. It's like, can you guys see Elise?
Yeah.
Like, she's so cute, isn't she?
She's adorable.
It's for some reason, I don't know, really we're delayed, but okay. I don't know why it's so delayed, but now let's see Elise and Elise. So is not really in the box. Elise, that's a hologram of Elise in the box. So the idea is that Elise could have been anywhere. That's my friend Tammy Sinkle. She's a broker out in Minnesota. Tammy could have been anywhere. And she could have been showcasing a house and showcasing it to someone else. That's Misty. That's Carol. She's a broker up in New York. Carol, again, she's so funny. Could have been anywhere. She could have been walking through the house. You could do Matterport in this. Now they have this huge one. They also have one that's the size about, how big is Christine? How big is the other one? Like 3 feet?
3 feet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
The table. So you can show Matterport. It feels like you're walking through the Matterport. It's insane, this box. You could also be standing next to it while you're seeing the video. So you could be walking through it. You could have this, send this to your customers wherever they are, and you could be walking through the property, and then they could say, I don't want to see that house. And you can send them another house that they could look at, and you could be talking to them while they're looking at it. It is crazy.
That seems creative, but box.
No. You're so cute. She couldn't even get her face on. No. Christine knows the owners who, and the tech people who created the box. They created the box for a totally different purpose. Like for performers, singers. Oh, like look at this one. Like, hold on a second. It's gonna play. Art galleries. So this has been created for a multitude of other purposes. We saw it. She's like, wait a minute, Carrie, you got to see this box thing. This could be totally used for real estate. Yeah.
I was
And
thinking,
all,
you know how they put renderings of like new projects? That would be perfect for
Absolutely.
that.
Floor plans totally come alive, right?
yeah. So I will have a box in a couple of weeks. I'm actually flying back to Las Vegas to pick one up to program it. So I'll host something with you, Carrie. We'll put together a Zoom for anybody who can't make it and do something in office so everybody can see it and interact with it.
Yeah. When I'm back.
Yes.
Okay, how do I get out of this meeting? That was,
What dates are you leaving, Carrie?
okay, so I am leaving Friday. And I come back on the 22nd. So I also, so you guys know, well, I have my whole wonderful admin team, but Sandy Waterbury, who's a friend of mine, who's the broker out of Tampa, who is amazing with contracts, is going to be covering me for contracts. If there's an absolute emergency, you can text me. I do have international, but don't text me for marketing. We have Claire. Don't text me for admin. And again, we have contracts, but if there's an emergency, you can text me. But if I'm not responding to you, that means I don't think it was an emergency. Yeah.
Or you
Yeah, not much,
on vacation.
but I'm going to be traveling a lot. So if it's really, but yeah, I will have international calling, but I'm not going to be obviously very accessible because we're going to be traveling a lot. We leave Friday,
Like this Friday, right?
this Friday.
The fifth.
This Friday.
So yeah, this Friday. Mhm. So Sandy Waterbury has you covered for any contract needs you have. She's very good at contracts.
Could
And
you put her phone number in,
yeah.
in the chat, please?
oh, you want in the chat now? Sure. I will send an email out.
Oh, that's fine then. Don't worry about it.
Okay, yeah. No, I'll send an email out with everything, so you have it. Yeah, of course. No, well, that's why I want, no, Sandy's awesome, and she really, that's why I asked her, because you guys, you have Claire now, yeah, for marketing. We now have, my admin team is great, right? So they can help you for any admin thing that you need. And, if I have someone really great for contracts to cover me, who's ready to answer the phone in case you need us, then I think we're good, right? So that's the thing. Now, there is going to be an occasional thing where it's like a Carrie. That's why I turned on international calling. Again, sparsely used, but no, I don't know if you'll be able to reach me. That's the problem, because I'm traveling a lot. We're moving all around. We get into Geneva, then we're going to go to, from Geneva, we go to Interlaken. From Interlaken, we're going to go do all the Jungfrau Joch, and we're going to go do the whole Oberlander thing, and then we're going to go over to Lausanne, then we're going to take the night train, and we're going to go to Budapest, then we're going to do Vienna, then we're going to do Houston, Germany, then we're going to go to Innsbruck, and then we're going to go to Salzburg, and then we're going to go to Munich. It's gonna be a busy 2 weeks. So that's what I'm saying. If I'm not answering, that's probably why. Yeah.
Can you take the pictures?
I'm gonna take a
Let us
lot
see.
of pictures. Yeah. I'm gonna take a lot. My husband bought a ScanDisk thing for I don't know how many like terabytes. He's like, we're gonna just download them. Yeah. So we're ready. We're ready. But so I'm really excited. Thank you all for coming for our GNE Takeaways. I hope you guys got lots of good stuff. Again, the GNE is amazing. I hope you all can come next year. There's just so many wonderful things. Do you have a question? No? Yeah.
If anybody wants to meet one-on-one with me about any questions about the GNE, feel free to let me know, just send me a text
That's awesome.
or if they want to talk to me about doing it next time or any connections I made over there.
Is there Emily?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or if you
Always.
need a person in a certain area and you want me to share, like I am completely happy connecting you with other.
And remember, I have broker contacts everywhere now. And the idea is too, that I can go direct to the broker and we can find the right person if you don't have somebody there, because that's what Alex is great. Don't get me wrong, but it's very different if I ask the broker, this is the kind of person that we need. Please give me the right contact. And then we get that contact right to you. It's always better, right? So that's the whole thing. So I have contacted connection with some fabulous brokers in all of our feeder markets. And it was great because of my group, like Valerie Swanson, she runs all of Pacific Sotheby's. She's awesome. So she wasn't there, but anytime I saw anyone from Pacific Sotheby's, I'm like, oh, you know Valerie? Valerie Swanson? Of course, she's my buddy. Forget it. It was awesome. So it's a really great thing to know the right people, you know? And so I just want to make sure that we have you guys hooked up for whatever you need. And of course, I ran all of Central Florida. That's what I said. So why would I say anything different? Because you guys can do anything in Central Florida, all of Central Florida. Little caveat. There's a couple other people here, but whatever. To know the difference. So, well, we will also have our sales meeting on Thursday. So I look forward to seeing you there and virtually or in person. So have a great rest of your day, guys. Bye. And for those of you here